When we got in here and we were gonna green manure this, but instead we found out that it wasn't working up as good as we thought. So we did come in here and we did herbicide this plot. And this grass wasn't working up, and this section here wasn't working up like we thought it was gonna. So we're doing a nice, slow, easy, controlled burn. It's a calm day, and we got it disced up around it for a good fire break. It's a perfect condition kind of day for doing a burn like this on one of your plots. This is a good sign when you're planting your soybeans and clover that you got plenty of inoculant on them to allow them to establish early on in their life cycle. So if you're getting a little dirty, you're doing something right. So as you can see, Dad's disking in those beans that I just threw down. Threw down about 120, 130 pounds of beans on this one, and I don't know, probably 1.5, 2 acres, somewhere in there. We haven't done the calculations, but we figured we'd seed it a little bit heavy. So, because we know it's gonna get a lot of browse pressure. So he's gonna disc this in real quick, and then I'm gonna come back and you'll see us cultipacking this seed in, firming up that seed bed so that that soybean has a good fresh start. So I'm gonna go wash up because I'm all covered with inoculum right now. To my left is this week's plant of the week, and that's pokeweed. Pokeweed is very beneficial to your lactating does and your bucks putting on that last crucial bit of antler before this upcoming fall. So I'm in here tonight filming by myself because I couldn't line up a cameraman. You know, I'm not that big like Eric Long or somebody like that, so I got to do everything by myself. So let's dive in and take a look at this pokeweed a little bit more up close. So what you're going to have on a pokeweed plant is typically an alternating, as you can see, not opposite off the stem, leaf arrangement, and a very purple stalk, and that's one of your main dead giveaways for pokeweed. Also, it's going to be growing in typically an old field or woods edge kind of situation, and then these are going to be your berries that it's going to start to grow this time of year. As you can see, they're green and almost look like little green pumpkins at this stage, and right there's a little flower that's just getting pollinated so it can produce a fruit. And then you got very large lanceolate shaped leaves typically, and like I said, off that alternate pattern off the stem, and that's pokeweed right there. The reason that this is such a valuable plant is it's very rich in vitamins and minerals, but also its protein content, which sets it just about above most natural browse. Somewhere is usually upwards in the low 30s, high 20s typically for protein content, which is just unbelievable for a native browse. This also, you know, they're not going to hit it like soybeans. Soybeans are king right now, but looking at a native browse perspective, that doesn't cost you a penny to put it on your property, enhancing some of your pokeweed, maybe with a little lime or fertilizer, and not, you know, just seeing it as a weed that you got to spray, utilizing that for your deer. You know, not just thinking with what can I spend, it's where can you save when you're looking at a piece of property. So we're right up here in close and personal with this pokeweed plant as I got the browse right in front of my face. But I want to make a key note here. When you're seeing that only you know, the top 3 to 5% of your plants are being browsed, that's a good thing. One of these highly desired species, like pokeweed, when they're eating just this top percentage of your plants, you have a large abundance of food on your property and high quality food that the deer are foraging on. With that being said, this 3 to 5% is all of the vitamins, nutrients, and minerals that this plant is pushing upward to produce these fruits. They're putting all that energy in that to ensure that their genes get passed on to their offspring in the next generation. So that's where you want your deer foraging. You don't want them eating it down to the ground, because then you have to address your food. You have to look at why. Why are they eating just this top 3%? Because that's where all the vitamins are. If they're eating your plants down to the ground, you got to take out some deer, or you have to increase the food availability or your food quality on your property. With that being said, this is a great sign that they're eating just this top 3% of this plant, and a majority of these plants are eating just to that 3% line. And that's great news as a wildlife manager, that you're putting so much food on the plate for them, so much on the buffet, that they just need that much of a little bit of everything. They're getting the most out of the habitat that you're providing for them as a land manager. Analyzing your browse and your forage on your property to see if those deer are eating just the top 3%, or if they're eating the first 10%, or are they eating it down to the ground. You have to look at these things and make your management decisions based off of these things. There is your tip from Old Tin Cup Habitat Restoration Enhancement. Just a reminder to check us out on Facebook anytime at Old Tin Cup Habitat Restoration Enhancement. Also, feel free to call me anytime at 315-879-7802 to schedule your free initial property assessment for this coming year. Again, I'm Ben Williams, and thank you for stopping by for 5 minutes of field with Old Tin Cup Habitat Restoration Enhancement. I'll see you next week here in the field.